Welcome to the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up Show. Here for our Tuesday edition. I'm going to get rid of that there because Trey makes fun of me for there. Another edition, Trey, man. I'll tell you what a week it's going by slow, in my opinion.
I know. I kept asking everyone at work, can you turn the music? Thank you. Your music's loud. You're old. I know you're deaf, but whatever the case. I know.
Like microphone today, so it should be a little better.
I keep asking everyone, is it only Tuesday? Like, yes. I'm like, seriously? But hey, I just want to let everyone know, everyone who's listening and everything like that, I'm excited for tonight's show. When you got the text, made the group text and everything like that from yesterday, I was like, man, I'm excited because we did this guy yesterday, head coach of Ozona Lions. He's a legend at Ozona. I moved to Ozona my beginning of my junior year, and he took me in like a big brother, and just made me feel like home and made me feel like I was part of the team of Ozona Lions and everything like that. I've always had a special place for him and everything. I know I disappointed him a lot with the people I hung out with, but I'm a lot better now, Jarryd. But Jarryd, Coach Taylor is a great person for Ozona. I know everyone in the Ozona Lion community loves him. His dad was actually a great mentor of mine. I love him to death. I love everything about this guy. I just can't wait to talk to him. But man, like you said, and I made a deal with him. If he makes playoffs, we're definitely calling first playoff game is with him to get their exposure. And I'm excited to have him on. But go ahead. I'm getting
welcome, Coach Jarryd Taylor of the Ozona Lions. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Appreciate it. Those were some kind words. I don't even remember Trey from high school.
What? I was the one doing the rolls every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was the one celebrating.
I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's great.
I remember his dad. He's like we go to church together. His dad was a deacon at my church, and my dad was a pastor. He comes to Sunday school, goes, Trey, come here. I'm like, what? You know you got to roll on Monday. I'm like, for what? He goes, I look at film like crap.
Just because. There you go. Well, Coach Taylor, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being on and everything. And Coach, I mean, this year, what's the one thing that you've learned about your team this year from last year?
I think one of probably the biggest things is just we've been able to put some points on the board more so than ever. It seems like we've kind of been challenging them over the summer and everything, just to kind of up that, just because it just seems like this day and age, it's harder and harder to stop people. So we just got to score. And, I think they've kind of taken up that challenge. And then, of course, the resiliency, the fight that they have, they're not going to give up, not going to give in. No matter what's going on, they'll fight through adversity, and we'll keep plugging away.
Yeah, Coach, you're talking about points. I mean, last week, I can't believe the squad. I keep refreshing text friends that we knew from Ozona. 60-70. Then he beat Grape Creek 57-22. You lose to Mason, which, I mean, Mason's always a tough out, like from our days. He scored 20, but man, you're pretty much averaging over 40 points a game. Just talk about how your offense and how they're thriving right now.
I think something going into the season that we actually thought was kind of one of our weaker points, I guess, was our offensive line. We were kind of worried about them, and they've actually kind of quietly become our strongest asset, I guess you'd say, and done a heck of a job. And we've got a lot of good skill kids, and we knew we had some good skill kids that could do some stuff in space. And so I think we've just been doing a better job of getting them the ball in space and letting them, do what they do best. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
Coach, I mean, when it comes to your pre-district schedule, oh my gosh, I mean, it's not a slouch at all. I mean, we're talking, you play Wink, you play Mason. I mean, Miles. I mean, these are teams that are usually battling in the playoffs, pretty deep. Is it something that with the schedule that you have for the pre-district that is going to see teams in your district like these guys, or how's that going to help you, when it comes to district play? Because those are some tough cookies.
Right. I think the best part about that is you are cutting your teeth against some good teams, and we've got a lot of guys that seems like each year we have a lot of guys that are.
No.
I blame JR for all this.
Don't blame me. I didn't blame for freeze up.
District is tough.
Yeah, your district is tough.
Yeah, the district is tough, and so I think that just helps us going forward. We've been playing some tough teams, and we know how to play. Play through that adversity, and when things don't go right, and so, it's going to help us through the long run.
I mean, Coach. Coach Taylor. I mean, you played Grave Creek in your pre-district, which is weird to me because when we and you were playing, juniors and seniors, they're in our district, and it's just weird seeing all that. But now you have a bye week this week. You have Sonora, who's top 10 ranked right now in the. It's It's a rivalry. It's an I-10 rivalry. 20 minutes. Like we go to Sonora, people know who Sonora is. Just talk about how tough that game's going to be coming off your bye week.
I think from last year coming off the bye week, we had actually beat Miles and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves, I guess. And we did not show up for that Sonora game. And when we did have some big injuries that happened in that game, but that still from last year, that's left a bad taste in our mouths. And I don't know, this bye week, it's been a lot different as far as the focus and the mentality of the kids going into this Sonora game. And Sonora is tough. That's a heck of a team. They always are. They've got a great tradition going. But, in rivalries, everyone's kind of even just because, everybody's hyped up for it. This is the game they want to win. And we do go to Sonora this year. We're excited about it. They're going to have, weapons everywhere and stuff, but we're going to give them everything we got.
Coach, what is the one thing that you want to see some kind of improvement on for your team?
I think probably the biggest thing after the last couple of weeks is, our defense, just getting a few more stops. We don't, nowadays it's hard to play those perfect games where you're shutting people out and things like that. It doesn't happen very often. And if we can just get, 2 or 3 more stops than we normally get, that just gives us a chance. That's huge.
Man, I'm going to ask you this. How weird is it, because you're about the same age, like you see kids who we graduated from or who we went to school with that you're actually coaching their kids now?
Right. There's way more than I could even think of. It seems like every year I learn more and more. I'm like, wait, who's your dad? I'm like, who's your mom? It's crazy. And it is weird. It's like, man, I went to school with a lot of these parents.
Right.
Wow. Like, and my oldest kid is 6 years old. Like, I guess I started a little late, but man, I can see them in there. It's like funny because some of them I'm like, yeah, you're just like your dad, or like, they remind you of them. Like, yeah, that's why you did that, because I know who you're related to. Yeah, it's crazy.
So we're giving a lot of roles. Is that what I understand?
Well,
you're rolling because of who your dad is. Sorry.
Exactly.
Coach, man, also we just appreciate you being here. Thank you. And Coach, I mean, now that district is coming up and everything with those tough, of course, what we talked about Sonora and everything. What besides Sonora, like what is one of the other matchups that you're looking forward to that you're just ready to, have that game coming up for district?
I think another one of our rivalries, Big Lake. That's someone. Since I've been here, we have not beat Big Lake, and that really, really bothers me.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Coach. We used to dominate Reagan County.
It has not happened, and they've got their head coaches. He's got 2 boys that are, man, they're lethal out there on the field, and so they make it tough. But that's another one. I personally, I want to win that game. I don't know how the kids feel, but I need to win that game. That's bothered me.
I think you're going to have to just, make that a point to the kids and then have the dads come in of the kids that played with you about Reagan County and just kind of,
yeah. I don't remember losing to them when we were in school.
We didn't.
No. Yeah, so that bothers me.
Yeah, I don't blame you because we didn't lose to them your senior year, my junior year. We didn't, and then even after that, we never lost a ring. Like, oh, that's a win on our schedule. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what's happened in Reagan County with the Owls and everything? But that's one thing weird about because you have Ozona and Reagan County or Big Lake as we call it, but we have two teams. Man, that's there's only one school or one town in that county, and so people call it Reagan County, but we know it as Big Lake and everything like that. But it's just weird how. Coach, I know February is a redistricting and everything like that. Can you give us any insight of what the district's going to be next year or what your scheduling is?
I don't know about as far as district. That's UIL and God. They're the only ones that know that one. But I would imagine it'd be pretty similar. There's rumors that a team like El Dorado can move up to Division I and maybe cause some issues with the district. But I don't really see it changing a whole lot. It'd be nice if Anthony would move up and get out of here, but just because that's a heck of a haul for everybody that has to go there, and for them, they got to travel forever for every game. But that's one thing kind of hoping for, I guess, is that they move up. But yeah, I don't see it being too different from this past 2 years. Non-district still kind of up in the air.
Before JR asks a question, I have a follow-up. Do you like this district that you're in with Sonora, Reagan County, Anthony, or would you rather prefer the Mason, Harper?
They kind of both have their positives and negatives, I guess. I really enjoyed that first district when we got here just because wasn't used to traveling that direction, and just, it was nice to see different scenery and things like that. District other than Anthony, of course, is better for travel and for the fans and things like that. So I think everybody's excited there. And one thing that I didn't like on that Mason district is that first round district was brutal with, Shiner and Ganado and them in there. But then you look where we're at now. Now we can get, Holly and Cisco and stuff like that first round. So it's just like, well, no matter which direction we go, we're going to get state champs the first round or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, both are tough, but I did enjoy that other one.
With the opportunity to create new schedule here coming up for the next 2 years, some of the people were asking and everything, what about? Let me just kind of put a Blanco and Ozona game.
Blanco, huh?
That's a long travel for both.
But you could meet somewhere in the middle, like, well, I don't know if Kerrville would be the middle, but I mean, it's a haul from Blanco, about an hour better, and then, or, Ingram or something like that, maybe meeting a neutral spot.
Right. I don't know. You got some connection in Blanco or something?
We do.
I have not thought about Blanco for 1 second. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know about that one.
JR's just starting.
I'm just trying to get some good games around here, when it comes to that. But I think that an Ozona Blanco game would just kind of true test, or Orlando Blanco. I know they're up, a little bit on the division side, but it's at the same time, I mean, it's that tough notch hill country, just get after it kind of football and yeah.
All right, I'll think about that one. That may get me fired though. I don't know.
We'll take the rap for it. How about that?
JR would take the rap for it. I know who your superintendent is. I'm not taking the rap. Oh man, like I said, man, like you said, Anthony's a long travel and everything like that. What is the best? What's one position that you like from previous years, from when you got there? What's the most position you feel like you have the most confidence in coming into this year and leading to district play here in a couple of weeks?
The most confident in the position?
Yeah, like what you don't have to worry about. Like what do you feel like? We got to practice on other things, but I feel very confident in this position or group or something.
I'd say, going into this year and after these first few games, our running back position is pretty solid. And I mean, it's really only one person because our other guy got hurt in week 1. And so we only have one, but he is a dude, and he rushed for over 300 last week, and just a tough kid, tough runner. And he's young. He's just a sophomore.
Right.
But really going into this year, everything else was kind of up in the air. Our receiver core, we were pretty confident with those guys and what they could do. So that'd probably be the other one. But everyone else was kind of up in the air, needing to be challenged, kind of wondering what they were going to do, once we hit those good teams and stuff. And that running back spot's been pretty solid.
How's the community of Ozona been? We went through Ozona, what was it, a few weeks ago? Trey had to show me some of the old stomping grounds, from the high school to the church where he lived and those things like that. But it just seemed like Ozona this, Ozona that, purple gold. But just the community, how important is that for you to have them have your back?
Oh, it's huge. And, that's one of the things, or one of the reasons why we wanted to come here, is just knowing Ozona and being here and growing up here, and just the support that they have. They love their kids, they love their sports, and they're going to support everything and everyone 100%. And they get wild and crazy. I can tell you that. Like game days are crazy. They're blaring music in the hallways, in between classes, things like that. And it's just a good atmosphere, and we've passed some bonds. And so I don't know if you saw the new high school.
Yes.
But we got a new field house going up soon. And so things like that. So there's a lot of good things going on.
Yeah. I told JR wanted to get the first talk to him. I'm like, it's okay, dude. It's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm like, let's go. I want to show my house. I want to see where I used to live. Oh, the First Baptist Church, of course, where me and you went to church every Sunday. And then because I knew you always built that new high school. Just talk about your school board and the fundraising and everything, because that school is bad A, man. Just talk about what like you said, the community is great, but that school board, how they represent your school and everything, how they got all that built.
Oh yeah, they've been extremely supportive, and it's almost like no-brainers for them, when they're talking about creating these bonds and getting these things built. I mean, it's just like why are we not doing it? Like, why would we not? We've got the community support, get those bonds passed, get the money going. Why would we not want our kids to have the best thing that we can give them, type of deal, and so, that high school, of course, just at first, it's kind of one of those, like, they're tearing down a building that's almost 100 years old, kind of sad, and like just so many people have gone through the school system. And so it's kind of sad, but then, everybody's excited at the same time for the possibility of what it is and just how nice it is and things like that, and what the kids get to do now. And, and they built that side gym attached to the Davidson, which is awesome. It's been a big help. And then, that kind of that last piece, I guess, the field house, that's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, we kind of went through that here in Kerrville. For me, the old Tybee High School being torn down and whatever they're going to do with it, it's just a sad little deal. But then at the same time, there's the excitement because of what is happening, not just for sports, but for everything else. So that kind of comes to with your kids. I mean, they're not just playing football. I mean, there's kids in the band, one act play. There's kids that, are the football team is going to the volleyball games, packing the house, basketball games. I mean, how important is it for you as an athletic director to just make sure that, we're not supporting just one sport? We need to get out there because they're coming to our football games. We need to get out there and support everything that we can.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's huge. And I mean, I think that's something everybody's really good about here, is the support for just everything that goes on. And I don't know, it might be a small town thing because there's not, nothing else is going on out here, but the support for all the sports is huge, and all the kids go, and the kids do a heck of a job with, basketball games with the student section. They get crazy and they wear costumes and got noisemakers and all this stuff.
Nice.
And so, it's a great atmosphere all around for everything that we do here. And it's huge. I mean, you build support, you build the atmosphere, and you just get more and more participation, and you just hope that more and more kids get involved, things like that. And it's been great.
I want to know what brought you back to. I know you grew up here, and I know that's where your dad and your mom and your sister and everything. But what? I mean, because you could probably could have gone to any school that you wanted to. What brought you back to Ozona to coach these kids at this school?
I think just thinking back to the years I was here, it just seems so special. There's just something about it that I really enjoyed and had an awesome time here and awesome experience, and and being in West Texas and being up close to Lubbock and stuff like that. The scenery is just flat dirt,
Right.
And wind blowing 100 miles an hour, and there's also like they have hills and trees and things like that. It's pretty nice too. But I think more than anything, it was just those memories that I had, and how special it was going through school here that brought me back.
All right, I got to do it because if I don't do it, then I'm going to get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to have to do it. So here we go. Hey, tonight's show is brought to you by Deja Vu Custom Embroidery. I tell you what, they've been hooking up Hill Country Nation with all the merch that we get, from hats to shirts, and I might have to get a flag made sometime because I have to do a trade with Hill Country Nation for an Ozona flag. Maybe that'd be good. But Deja Vu Custom Embroidery, man, I tell you what, they will ship to you as well. So if you need to get those playoff shirts, or you just need some good hats for your business or shirts for your business, Deja Vu Custom Embroidery. You can visit them online. Just go to Hill Country Nation Facebook, get the link there. Bam, there you go. Deja Vu Embroidery. Tell Jay and Cassandra that you heard about them right here on the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up Show. All right, Coach, it's Friday. It's game day, man. I mean, things are happening. You're looking at the playbook, putting that away, and then all of a sudden, oh, man, I'm starting to get a little rumbly in the tumbly. Is there a certain little meal that you might have to have right before game day, or, I mean, that you have to you eat the same thing when you win, or drink, energy drink, coffee, whatever? What is it that you have to have the same thing every Friday?
Well, it used to be something I would eat or drink or whatever, but it's kind of changed. I mean, it's still a drink, but it's kind of changed over the years. So I was kind of a Red Bull guy and had to have a Red Bull every game, and I drank it the same exact time every game. Well, I've kind of ditched that now. It is now, just to be more supportive of my team, it's a purple Monster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I had to switch it up a little bit, and it's been good for us so far, I guess.
Is it good?
Oh, yes, it is good. And, something I actually read this the other day, and it was talking about grape being the flavor or whatever. And someone said, grape drinks don't taste like grape, but they sure do taste like purple. And that is true. It does have a nice purple taste.
That's awesome.
And I still owe y'all some stuff, by the way, and I still have a list.
I didn't want to be that guy who just annoyed you. I was like, man, you still owe us some merch and some food.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it for a while. And then when y'all were texting me, I was like, oh, man, I still owe them. People were texting me afterwards, like they were giving me the list so that I wouldn't forget.
Oh, nice.
What happened, but
well, we got something for you, too. So it'd be good little. It may not be as much, but it was going to be good.
All right. Yeah, you have to text me the address so I can ship it to y'all.
Okay, I can do that.
I mean, you're talking about that, the merch and everything like that, but tell JR why I think we should do Sonora, Ozona, Hill Country Nation game of the week in 2 weeks.
Ooh. That is the I-10 rivalry, and there might be some fights in the stands from some of our alums. So I think it was the second year, one of our teachers, she came to me, we were going to Sonora, and she just looked at me and she said, I'm going to Pizza Hut, I'm going to the game, and then I'm fighting somebody. We're with you. We've got your back.
Nice.
Yes.
It's
totally intense.
like JR said, we're going through Fort Stockton a couple weeks ago, and I stopped in Sonora. We're like, dude, like we just ate up, like we came to Fort Sonora to eat up Pizza Hut, And then after that, we hated for Sonora. Like, it was a route. Like, we hated Sonora.
You loved it for the Pizza Hut, but everything else was the wayside.
Did you hear that, JR? So, I'm telling you, that's a good game of the week.
I'm telling you, I know. I hear you, man.
Wild. It's going to be packed, that's for sure.
Both teams, if you do not get San Angelo love, I'm just letting you
know. Nice.
Yeah, come on down.
Your turn, Trey.
Oh, it's still my turn? I thought that was my question. Coach, I'm going to ask you this later on. I think I know your answer is going to be. I know it's going to be me, but whatever the case. Who is the best mentor in your life that got you into coaching? Like, who's your inspiration? Who do you look up to? Like, who got you? I know it's going to be me. I know, but I know. Actually, I know. I'm kidding all the time. I know who your answer is going to be. But just talk about how you got into coaching and who your best inspiration was that led you to coaching, and who you are today.
Well, growing up, my dad was always the coach, and so I grew up around coaches my whole life. And really a lot of the same ones. They were with my dad in Denver City the first round and all came to Ozona together. And so really that just whole core group of coaches, I was around those guys my whole life. And then one of them, Coach Strine, I went with him to Midland High, or that's the reason I went to Midland High. And so really, obviously my dad had the biggest influence, but it was also those guys that were around him and just how they were. And when I went to college, I wanted to go and be rich and make a lot of money or something. And of course, after like a year, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't like any of this stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be a coach. I was like, that's every male in my family is a coach. And like, I don't even know why I tried to do something else. But then, at Hardin-Simmons, those coaches, were awesome. And one of them, the OC there, was a family friend that we've known forever. And so it was also kind of, those guys had a big impact as well. And, even at our homecoming pep rally, I was given a speech that they gave almost every weekend at Hardin-Simmons, and I was giving the same one to my guys. And so really it's, my dad's obviously number one in what he's done in my life, but it's also that other core group with him and, those coaches in college, all had a huge impact in my life.
Real quick, JR, quick story. I love Coach Taylor. I love Jerry, but his dad. My dad was my biggest person. I looked up at Coach Taylor he was a principal whenever I was a junior or a senior there. And after Jerry graduated, he gave up coach, but became the principal. And I remember, and I respect him to this day. At the time, I hated him, but at this time, back then you can get SWATs in school. And I remember I went to his office and he had to make a good example out of me. And he had like a big board with 3 holes in it. And it was like, oh man, I know what's coming. But to this day, it's like Jarryd, like you said, Stern, all of them, Unger. I loved every one of them. I mean, they're hard on me. They're hard, and I feel like that's what society is missing today. And that's why I love Jarryd Taylor. I think he's going to bring that back with a lot of small schools and stuff like that. It's that discipline and the love. Like they showed you discipline, but they're a father figure to you as well. Like they yell at you, they didn't cuss at you, but they yell at you and you know they wanted to cuss at you. But at the end of the day, they bring you to the side and they treat you like a son and everything. And they just loved you. And that's one thing I noticed about Jarryd's dad, who was my first coach as a junior. And it was just amazing. And that's who I am, besides my dad and my parents. But that's who I looked up to.
Yeah, I was going to ask how many SWATs you got.
Oh, I got one. I got one my senior year. And he goes, Trey, I got to make an example out of you. And I'm like, why did my parents sign this permission slip for them to SWAT? I was like, why?
Yeah. Hey, fun fact, we still give SWATs.
Really? That's awesome. I'm sorry for anyone listening to this. That's
how it works. That's how it needs to be. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too, but I don't care. Like that, it straightened me out a lot. Yeah. I wish they would straighten me out when I was doing rolls and stuff and throwing up before practice, but whatever.
Right. Coach Taylor, what is the one thing that you love about being a coach?
I would say one of the best things is the camaraderie you have with your kids and the coaches. And I think that's something when you when you're done playing your sport or whatever, you're done for your life, career, whatever. And I think that's one of the things you miss the most a lot of times.
Right.
But you get that as a coach still. You're still locker room, field house. You get all that brotherhood kind of, that it's something that you miss when you're done playing. So I think that's one of the best things.
Yeah, there's nothing like a Friday night in the locker room and stuff like that.
But a follow-up question with that is like, because of what you just said about the brotherhood and stuff with your coaches. I mean, you can give them shout outs and everything too, because I mean, how important is it for you to have these coaches that kind of takes away a little bit of the stress and some of the things that you try to address, but you can rely on those guys not only to address some things, but at the same time come together and just have a powwow and love on each other, yell at each other, and at the end of the day, you're still going to go home loving each other.
Oh yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's huge that they're an extension of you. We're all working together for the same goal. We have different personalities, different perspectives. We all have different backgrounds, experiences, but they all come together and help, with the team. And some of our experiences or backgrounds help better with these kids and some with these kids, and,
Right.
just everything coming together and, just working together, it's humongous. And if you have a great staff, I mean, it just makes everything so much better.
All right. I just want to get a little personal right now. I know anyone who knows you and following your story and everything, like we all know that you went through some hardships and stuff with your adulthood and everything like that, with your children and stuff like that. Just talk about anyone who's watching right now. Just talk about how it didn't change you as a man. It didn't question you. Like what made you the man you are, I guess, man you are today. But how'd you go get through all that, losing your child and stuff like that? Just talk about that.
I think, probably one of the biggest things, it didn't make our faith waver or anything like that. More than anything, it makes it stronger. And, and can't explain exactly why that is, I mean, it's hard and it hurts, it's tough. But it does it gives you a closer relationship with God. I know that. I think another thing was just being able to accept help. I think that's something that, I'm pretty private. I'm an introvert, I'm not seeking help and asking people to help, but they're just going to, and the whole community did. And I mean, not just the community, like people everywhere were supporting us, doing things for us, and like, each team we played, they were doing stuff for us or giving us stuff. And, Mason, we get to Mason and we get in that locker room and they have this huge metal sign that their kids made at school or whatever, an ag shop, I guess, and it's got the Lion helmet, the Mason helmet, and it says like faith, family, friends, football type of deal. And, it's hanging in my office and it's got Jet's name on it. And, just things like that, just everybody that came together to support us and help us and, just reached out and, just anything and everything, and even Wink was who we played the day before he was born.
Right.
And so Coach Gibson at Wink has always been kind of tied to it. It seems like he's always messaged me about him and everything like that throughout his life. And so this past season, it was his birthday and so they did a run through sign with his name on it and a sign that was hanging on their bleachers with his name on it and stuff like that for his birthday. So, that was huge. And they even came out of the tunnel running with their hands out flying like a jet, and I'm sitting there, we're trying to play a game and I want to beat Wink really bad. And I'm sitting over there bawling because they're doing that stuff. Like, dang it. But yeah, I think just kind of being vulnerable and taking in all that support and letting people help was probably one of the biggest things. It was a good thing though.
Coach, what in the UIL, a lot of things have been changing, rule changes and things like that. But what is one rule of the UIL that you would just love to change?
The cut rule. that rule has been a killer for places like us. I think, we're undersized. We could fly around the field and cut people all day long, but they do not allow it. And that wears me out. That really bothers me. I think that's caused more problems with just smaller schools than anything, just from the undersized kids that you're going to have and stuff like that. And of course, all those, flex bone, wing T, slot T teams, they're cutting everybody all over the place, so that I think that was big. I think that it seemed like at least they're trying to get everybody to be in spread offense and just kind of conform to that kind of stuff. Even that is what we run, but I wish we could cut people.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to be the running back putting a stiff arm because Juju was a running back, and that's what he lived his life off of was a stiff arm. I know a lot of coaches hate that, but at the same time, I knew Juju wasn't going to answer that.
Yeah, that dang cut rule. We might find some more blockers. We'd cut people.
Yeah.
Coach, I want to know, being an athletic director and everything, head football coach and from Ozona, what's the one legacy you want to leave as part of your, as whenever you leave or whenever that case may be, when you're done retiring or coach, what's the one legacy you want your kids to remember you by?
I think, I want to leave behind. I want people to know that, I was a humble servant, that I was there for them. I'm there for the kids. I'm there to support everyone, no matter what. I'm going to help out everywhere I can. I think that's always been number one, a humble servant. I think, that's one of the descriptions of Jesus. And I think, anybody that can at least try to aspire to live like that, is going to be okay.
What is the 2023 Ozona Lions motto, if you have one?
Well, I would say the biggest one that, we don't really pick just one usually, but I would say the most prevalent one this year, and this was from our defensive coordinator, but it's KOBK is the acronym, but it's kill or be killed. And, when I learned it or whatever, it's conquered or be conquered. He's a little more violent because he's on the defensive side of the ball now. It just kind of comes with the territory. So
Nice.
It's kind of a kill or be killed mentality. You're kind of backed in a corner. We got, I don't know if Trey, if you were there whenever we got this speech, because I don't remember what year it was, but they put us in the shower and told us we were, whatever animal, and another animal's going to attack us or whatever, you're back in the corner and, you're going to fight till you die or fight till you win type of deal. So it's basically that same thing, that same mentality.
I can't believe this. It's almost been 20 years since I graduated. I don't want to think about this. I'm sorry. But when I was there, I hate it. But yeah, do y'all still live by every step Lion Pride, and what does that mean to Ozona for your football team and foot basketball and all your athletic programs?
Oh yeah, and that's written everywhere. And the kids still, after pregame, when they run to the locker room, they're chanting every step Lion Pride. That's been Ozona forever. And it stays strong. And I think just what that means to us is when you're here and when you're out of Ozona, wherever you go, career, whatever, you're always a Lion, once a Lion, always a Lion type of deal. You are who you are because you were a Lion type of deal. It's just that's kind of the mentality, I think, every step Lion Pride is, you're a Lion wherever you go, no matter, even if it's been 20 years, you're getting old, Trey.
I know, like, I was like, well, because I got a notification about my grad. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost been 20 freaking years. I still feel like I'm a high school. Like, I go call games on JR right now. I'm like, I can still do this. Then we went to go hop a fence to get back to the press box. I'm like, oh my God, I just pulled a hammy. Like, I can't do this.
Sad when this old guy could outrun you.
Oh, that's true. Because I came home one night. My wife goes, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "I'm sore. I'm tired of walking."
Yeah.
There we go. There you go. Coach, any of the businesses or courthouse or anything like that lighting it up with purple and gold? I mean, we've heard some stories, where certain businesses and courthouses and things are lighting up blue and gold, red and black, things like that. Or, after a big win, the streets are just lined up when the team comes home from an out-of-town win, and it's just, the police, the fire station, and all the fans. Anything like that going around in the community of Ozona?
We get quite a bit of that. We don't have any purple and gold lights anywhere, but now that you say it, though, we're going to have to start doing that. But, the town's painted purple. Everybody's got flags everywhere. But when we go to a game, there's always fans lining the streets, on our exit, waving the flags everywhere, each turn type of deal. Sometimes we'll stop by the elementary and walk through there, and all the kids are yelling and screaming at you. And then on the way back, sometimes even when you take a loss, they still show up. But, especially after a win, especially those big wins, we get the escort, the fire trucks are waiting. People are out there waving flags. It might be pouring rain. They're out there waving flags. So, yeah, there's a lot of good support out here.
Nice.
Yeah, that's nothing I miss more than Ozona on Friday nights. The whole town shuts down. Then they reopen right after the game, like the restaurants and everything. Like, that's one thing. This is one thing I do admire about small town football. Then I do these bigger schools and everything, because it feels like it's more like a town. You're basically a professional athlete at that time. Like, you get and stuff like that. Man, but man, I could just ask you questions forever. I just don't know what that.
Well, we're still got an hour and 15. Wait,
that's true, because Laura did say I could do.
We're teasing with Joe.
All right.
Okay. I know back in the day when me and you were we went to Anshaw's house on Wednesday nights. I know you talked about because you did FCA. Is FCA a new thing there in Ozona? Because when I was there, I don't remember it being an FCA or anything.
Right.
It's something did you create, or just something like the whole town created? Like, hey, we're gonna start doing this and stuff like that.
Right. It was actually my wife and cheer sponsor kind of got together talking about that, and she has the cheer sponsor. She has like this barn. We call it a gym, I guess, but it's like a gymnastics. It's got like trampolines and foam pit and stuff like that. And so on Mondays we'll have FCA there. The kids will play their hearts out, and football players are about to tear their ACLs playing volleyball on trampoline and whatnot, and my kids are there going crazy in the foam pit and stuff like that. But and then we have our little fellowship and talk and stuff like that, and we just kind of trade off who's going to talk and things like that. But I think that's been really important. It's something, Miss Shaw, we don't have that anymore, and
right.
I think it's kind of a big loss for the community as far as just having that fellowship with the kids, and so we're trying to kind of fill that void and start doing something like that for the kids.
I think it'd be fun just to tackle Trey in that foam pit. That'd just be hilarious fun. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be good.
We need to do it.
Like JR, like we were talking about, like we went through Ozona a couple weeks ago. I started thinking memories and everything like that. I always loved Wednesday. Was always the hardest day, but I always loved Wednesdays because we go to like Miss Anshaw's house. It's on top of the hill, and all the kids from the high school. I'm not kidding you. Like it was like Golden Corral at her house.
Yes,
like it was like she had the best mashed potatoes, the best bread. I mean, it was just like all you can eat. Like, and she always, every kid went there. We did a Bible study and everything, but we always had leftover. It was just the best community thing that you could have. And that's one thing I do miss about Anshaw's house. And I was like, man, that's one thing I hate about growing up. I'm like, I don't get this anymore. But
live for yourself.
Those were good times. That was great food.
Oh my God.
She had that whole section of just like candy and stuff too.
Yes.
Just like a wall of candy bars, and it was like a gas station.
That's awesome. We got time for about 3 more questions, but Trey had told me, some spots there about, some good food and restaurants and things like that. But I want to know, we come back into Ozona, well, where's a spot that Coach Taylor loves to eat at? And can we ask for the Jarryd Taylor discount?
I don't know if you'll get that or not, Maybe if we beat Sonora, there might be one.
Oh, nice.
But what's really crazy is with our kids, my 6, 4-year-old, and 10-month-old, they've kind of really cramped our style on restaurants because they're not. You can't take them in public for very long. But, I think the usuals like El Chatos and Pepe's are still great.
That's what I heard.
Those are good recommendations. And Hitchin' Post, it just kind of depends on what you want. Hitchin' Post is going to give you a big old chicken fried steak and stuff that's going to be good. So I mean, the spots are still good. We've got a Mi Familia that has cowboy enchiladas that I didn't even know you could just make enchiladas so good. But cowboy enchiladas are great because they're pieces of steak inside instead of ground beef.
Nice.
It is good. Oh yeah, there's plenty of places.
Okay, this ain't my question. I just want to know from old. Is Mingo still around?
That is actually now a donut shop.
Oh, Mingo's were the. No offense to you, donut shop, wherever your name is. But me, when me and Jarryd were growing up, Mingo's was a place to be like dollar tacos, dude. They get it was so good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Their sign is still there, but it's a donut shop.
Well, they better be making some good donuts.
Yeah. They're the only donuts in town, but they are good.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions. So I can steal JR's question. Talk about I know coaching profession. I know it's a second job and everything like that. Just talk about your wife and your family and your coach, like everything else. Just talk about how supportive they are, knowing that you're going to be at the field. Like tonight, you're at the field house till 8 o'clock talking to us stupid goofballs or whatever. But talk about how supportive they are, knowing that you're going to be busy with that basically Monday through Sunday, and just their support that they have for you.
Yeah, I think. That's something my dad actually used to tell me when I was in college and stuff was, with every great coach is a great wife. And he always just told me how important that is, that you have an understanding wife because they're long hours. And like I said, we've got 3 little kids, she's by herself with them quite a bit. Of course, my parents live here now, and that's huge for us. Yeah. But, and she's a coach herself. So, she understands it definitely. And I just think, the support it's awesome for one, but because I've seen where people don't have that support and how difficult it makes this career, and people have to get out and do other things. And I think with us both being coaches, for one, it makes it even crazier because we're both gone a lot. She's doing cross country and things like that. And we're both gone in the mornings, and my parents have to watch kids in the morning and just all kinds of stuff. There's a lot that plays into it. But the support is amazing. And I think it's huge. It's huge for any coaching family.
Real quick, Jarryd, before you ask this question, I want to know why Laura's Twitter game is more effective than yours.
Because she's the exact opposite of me. She is an extrovert. So she's constantly on social media, her phone, or whatever. When she drives by herself, I don't know if she ever has seen the road. I don't know how she gets there. But yeah. Well, I don't even worry about that. I'm on Twitter, and she made me a Facebook. It's hers. It's my name, my picture, but it's actually hers. I don't know anything that's ever done on it is through her. So if you get stuff from me on Facebook, just know that's Laura. But yeah, so I don't know what I can say about that.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I'm sorry. You're probably gonna go home to like a microwave lunch.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, see, I'm used to the non-cooking or whatever. We don't ever cook around here, so I'm used to that at least.
Same here.
Well, Coach, we do really appreciate you being on our show tonight, and we'll go with one question, but we do want to talk to you just for a little bit tweak afterwards and everything after the show. But what makes Coach Jarryd Taylor Coach Jarryd Taylor?
Oh man, well, I would have to just say, my family. I think that's what makes me who I am. Whether that's my upbringing my parents or, my wife and my kids. That's a big part of me and big part of who made me who I am. A lot of people around here, they always say, I remind them of my dad and stuff like that. And so I'd say that's got to be the biggest thing is my family.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Coach, and we really appreciate you being on the show here tonight.
Thank y'all.
And I look forward to getting some of that merch a little bit later on down the road this year.
Oh yeah, I'll get you
got the donut shop too, right?
No. Pepe's or El Tacos or chicken fried chicken. No. Or Brian's. Brian's was good.
Oh yeah, that's still good. That's still one of the top ones. Yeah.
Awesome. Hang around for just a little bit, Coach, because we got a couple of questions. In fact, I got a text message that I think you might be intrigued by. So something that you might like and everything. But other than that, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on our show, man. Good luck with the rest of the year. And we look forward to seeing you down the road.
Appreciate it, sir. See you at Sonora.
Yes, sir. All right, that's going to do it for another episode here of the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up. Not sure who we're going to get yet tomorrow. Still waiting in the wings, but we will be back tomorrow, either 7 or 7:30. Hey, I want to remind everybody to tune in to JamBroadcasting.com for the Hill Country Nation Game of the Week this Friday. The Harper Longhorns taking on Church St. John Paul II Guardians. All right, that's going to do it. And for Craig Collison, Coach Derek Taylor, I am out of here.